Hi and welcome to the first ever Diamond Lobby video tutorial. Today we're going to be taking a look at fishing in Amazon's first ever game, New World. Now I've spent a lot of time fishing in this game, so safe to say I've learnt a few tricks here and there, and in this video I'm going to be sharing my top 10 tips for fishing in the game, so this can help you rank up quickly, make money from fishing, and complete quests and other things like that. So let's get stuck in, shall we? The first tip I've got for you when fishing is to keep the tension meter in the green, but max it out as much as you can. So you want to open it up as far as you can, and then you want to let it come all the way back in again, all the way, but you want to make sure that you're keeping it in green as much as you can. You don't want to be going into the orange, or definitely not into the red, because this makes fishing more inefficient. The second tip I've got for you is to always use bait, again, because it's much more efficient than not using bait. Sometimes you might need to go ahead and buy some bait, or you might need to find some, but ultimately you should always be using it, even if the bait isn't very good. Sometimes the bait might only give you a small chance to get a bigger fish or a better fish, and you will find this in the description of the item within your inventory. However, using the bait just speeds things up massively. From my testing, I've noticed that you tend to get a bite around 50% faster when you're using bait compared to when you're not using bait. So definitely make sure you're using it. The third tip I've got is that you can find this bait in bulrush and briar for freshwater, so you'll find like firefly bait in the bushes around most popular fishing locations, or if you're looking for saltwater bait, then look under flint. You can go around, pick up lots of different pieces of flint. It does take a little bit of time because the success rate of getting bait from either under flint or in bulrush and briar, it's not the highest. You're probably looking at 10 to 20% success rate or something like that, but once you pick up enough of it, you will definitely pick up enough bait to do a fair amount of fishing with. Just make sure you discard the flint after you've gone around and picked up a lot of it, because it does weigh you down and make you unencumbered, and this isn't really good if you're looking to catch as many fish as you can, because fish also start to weigh a lot after you've caught a lot of them. The fourth tip I've got for you: fishing in deep water is more efficient than fishing in shallow water. You get bites more quickly in deep water. Also, shallow water is more efficient than very shallow. So basically, the thing to remember is that the shallower the water, the longer it takes for you to get a bite. So if you're looking to level up quickly, if you're looking to complete quests in the quickest possible time, obviously we've already spoken about using bait, but you also want to try and use deeper water where possible. However, you can ignore all of that when it comes to tip 5, because the absolute most efficient place to fish is using an active hotspot. You can find these active hotspots in certain fishing locations. The one that I like to use, and the one that I'm using in this video, is located in Windswood in the Broad Fishing Hotspot. It's just a 1-star location, and you can see it in the lake. It's got fish jumping out of it, and it's not there at all times, so sometimes it does disappear from here. You could be fishing with it and it vanishes. However, what I've noticed is it always comes back in the same place, and you don't really need to wait too long. You could probably spend about 10 minutes fishing and it will probably return. But it's much quicker to get a bite, and you will hook a much larger percentage of non-common fish, so you'll get rarer fish, you get treasure chests and more from these active hotspots. So not only is it good for getting a bite faster, you can also get a lot more rare fish, meaning your XP really starts to increase and you can start to get that fishing level racking up even faster. The sixth tip I've got for you is that you can catch legendary tier 5 fish using a basic fishing pole with no bait and no active hotspot. The likelihood of doing so is just lower than when you have a better fishing pole and bait and you're in the right places. So always remember that even if you're brand new to the game, you've only got basic equipment, you don't really know what you're doing, you can still catch amazing fish. It's not like in other games where you've got to be certain levels to get certain fish. At least from what I've found out so far, I already caught a tier 5 legendary albanaja, I think they're called. I'm probably butchering the pronunciation of that. However, I did catch one of these legendary tier 5 fish just using the tier 1 fishing rod with basic firefly bait on it. So you never know, if RNG is on your side, you might get your hands on something very valuable just from fishing at the start of the game. The seventh tip I've got for you, and this is a very important one, is that you can't get all types of fish in every location. And I'm not just talking about the difference between freshwater and saltwater here. You can't get every type of freshwater fish in every freshwater location. If you're fishing at the Broad Fishing Hotspot in Windswood, which I did for over 12 hours trying to find a snail, you can't get one here. So do not fish here. And that's the same place that I recommended for this active hotspot. You can get tadpoles here, you can get catfish and other things like that, but but you cannot get snails in this particular place. So you have to find other places sometimes to get different types of fish that you might need for quests or town missions. The 8th tip I've got for you is that you can get a better fishing pole by engineering it using very basic materials. You don't need to be a high engineering level to get yourself a tier 2 rod, and you only need to be level 4 to equip a tier 2 fishing rod, and you only need to be level 18 to equip a tier 3. So definitely look into engineering yourself a better fishing rod where you can, or just head to the trading post and buy one. They're really not that expensive. The 9th tip I've got for you is that as soon as you've reeled your fish in, left click to skip the animation of him like pulling out of the water and showing you what fish you've caught and all of that stuff. For efficiency reasons, look to skip that animation wherever possible. So left click to skip the animation once you've reeled the fish in, and then immediately click again to cast your fishing line back out. It's these small seconds that you save that really start to make a huge efficiency difference once you've been putting 2 or 3 hours into fishing at a time. You'll probably come out with a lot more XP and a lot more fish as well. The 10th and final tip that I've got for you is that you can actually see the item in the water that you've hooked. As long as the water is still and there's not people splashing about and all that, you can actually see it beneath the water's surface. So if you don't want to catch an oar or other useless items, but you see that you've got one, what you can do whilst you're reeling it in is right click just to basically cancel the hook, and that means you can just give up on it. Now you'll lose out on a bit of XP doing this, but if you're trying to do a quest, if you're trying to catch specific fish, for example, you might need to catch a salmon. Salmons are pink. So if you're hooking something in, the water's nice and still, and you can see through the water that it's not pink, you might want to consider giving up on it. I hope you found this video useful. As I said, it was actually the first ever Diamond Lobby video tutorial, so if you have liked it, you found it useful, please hit that like button, and consider subscribing if you want more gaming tips in the future as well. Thanks for watching.